Hello guys, I hope everybody is able to see me, hear me and see the screen properly. Okay, so we're going to be starting out with this quick session where the focus is going to be on 2-month plan for your CFA Level 1 exam. So what all things I'm going to be covering today. Okay, so we are going to be looking at the CFA Level 1. Okay, and I'm explicitly going to talk about the two months plan, focusing on the May 2024 exam. Okay, focusing on the May 2024 exam. Okay, I'm going to be talking about briefly I'm going to cover the weightages, okay, for each book. Okay, then I'm going to be talking about what should be your order of revision. Okay, then I'm also going to be walking you through the plan. Okay, what should be your plan in the last 2 months? Okay, last 2 months. And also I'm going to be talking about what should be your order, in the sense when should you start solving the mock papers and all of that. I'll be also be talking about that in detail. Further, I'm also going to be talking about the important chapters from your CFA Level 1 exam. Okay, so with this we're going to be starting out now, and we're going to be talking about first the weightages, okay, that we see for each chapter, each book basically, and how many are the number of chapters that are there. Okay, so first we have the quant book. Okay, we'll just walk you through that book effectively. 1 second. Okay, so we have the quant book, and what is the broader weightage that we see for quant book? It's around 6 to 9%. Okay, and then you have roughly 11 chapters, from the quant book. The second book is your eco. Okay, eco book, and has roughly weightage of around 6 to 9% with a chapter of around 8. Okay, easy to tackle theoretical chapters. Okay, then you have corporate issuers. Again, the weightage is around 6 to 9%, and roughly you have around 7 chapters in this book. I'm going to rewrite this. 7 chapters in the book. Okay, then you have FSA. Okay, I'll write it over here. FSA, slightly difficult because a lot of students face challenge over here when they look at the FSA book. Okay, and the weightage is also very high. It's around 11 to 14%, and you'll find 12 chapters. Okay, 12 chapters that you ideally need to cover, okay, in this FSA book. A lot of accounting related content. Okay, so when you're revising also, my suggestion would be do the revision of the Swagger book twice. Okay, then you have the next book, which is equity. Okay, which is also slightly important with around 11 to 14% of weightage, and you will find roughly 8 chapters coming in from this book. Then you have fixed income. That also has now increased in terms of length for this year, so it is around 11 to 14% weightage, and you'll find 19 chapters. Okay, you'll find 19 chapters. And then you have derivatives book. Okay, that derivative book which was previously like 1 or 2 chapters. If you go 2 years back, 3 years back, now they had increased it to around 10. So the weightage is around 5 to 8%, and the number of chapters that you have to cover is around 10. Okay, then you have AI, alternative investment. The weightage is around 7 to 10%. Okay, 7 to 10%, and the chapter that you have to cover is 7. Then you have portfolio management, which roughly around 8 to 12%, and you have around 6 chapters coming from this. And then you have the main book, which is the ethics book. Okay, ethics book, and over here the focus is around 15 to 20%. Okay, and with roughly 5 chapters, and out of these 5 chapters, only 1 chapter is going to be very, very huge. Okay, now, so right now we are standing at around roughly at end of your March. Okay, we are standing today over here, Now, how should you plan? Okay, so whatever your date of exam is, okay, that window in the middle of the month of May. So I'm just going to take it as roughly mid of May, depending upon the date that you have chosen for the exam. Okay, now from this mid of May, okay, ideally you should go back roughly to around 15 to 20 days. Okay, depending upon how much content you have already covered, okay, or how much whether you have done your revision, whether you've completed the curriculum or not. So ideally you should be keeping 15 to 20 days for solving of mocks and revision, because when you're going to start solving the mock papers, okay, at least half of the day will only go in solving the mock, and then you will need some time, 1 or 2 days to revise the content and all, right? So roughly around 15 to 20 days depending upon your preparation. Okay, so say for example, by end of April you should start, again depending upon when your exam date is. So what should you be doing in this entire 1 month from the 1st of April to your end of April? What should be your strategy? Okay, so I will be giving you the order of preparation. So in the month of April, okay, ideally what you should be looking at is do a quick revision, okay, quick revision of the books in a particular order, and also go through the institute questions, okay, and check where you have made mistake from that book, which chapter the question was from and what concept it was. Just go through that quickly. Okay, so what should be your order of preparation? Now, when you talk about the order of preparation, I would ask you everybody to focus on quants first. Now, the main reason I'm looking at that quant, not because of the weightage, but because it's the building block. It's the building block, okay, for all your calculation based things in your entire CFA. So please make sure that you go through the quant book in a very proper manner. Make sure that you're clear with hypothesis testing, linear regression. Look at, I'm also assuming that you have solved the question bank, the individual chapter wise question banks which are available in your CFA Institute curriculum, so that you have already solved. Okay, and you've also touched upon the blue boxes. So when you're revising now, focus on quants, and while doing that, go through the institute level questions, and then also look at the blue boxes quickly in that 1 month. Okay, next is you should focus on equity, because it is slightly heavy, and the chapters are easy. It's not very tough. Okay, and it has 11 to 14% high weightage, so it has high weightage, so you have to make sure that when you're revising, okay, so you are in a good spot, okay, while you're focusing on the content. Next is fixed income. A lot of students do find this book slightly tough. Again, I'm asking you to revise it immediately because of the high weightage. Okay, now FSA, the next book I generally recommend is FSA. Now why FSA? Because see, FSA is more about rule driven questions, and the chapters are slightly big. Okay, so what my suggestion would be, do a 2 revision of this book. So first, complete it right now. When you're coming in a particular order, complete it immediately after your fixed income. Okay, it does not have that much connection with the previous books, but when you're doing it at the start, in the initial 4-5 chapters, you can come down later. Okay, and you can also read it again. That's why I have explicitly talked about the fixed income. Then in the 5th order, ideally you should be looking at AI. Okay, they are very easy topics, 7 chapters, not very tough. Okay, then you should go about at looking at portfolio management. Okay, weightages is around 8 to 12%, 6 chapters, good content, you can easily score over here. Okay, then you can have derivatives. Now roughly 10 chapters over here, 10 chapters. The weightage is not very big, it's around 5 to 8%, and that's the reason I've kept it slightly later in the curriculum. Okay, then you have the 8th book in the order, which is going to be economics. Okay, again slightly theoretical, so you can cover it later on, and you will have to read it again also while you're doing the papers and all properly. So economics, and then you have the corporate issuer. Okay, and then the 10th book, ethics. So what my suggestion would be, that when you start your preparation, start your revision from 1st of April. Okay, ideally what you should be doing is that start solving ethics, questions of ethics, 5 or say around 10 depending upon your bandwidth, every single day. So ethics has to be done in each day when you're revising for the month of April. So even if you do 5 questions, okay, 5 question 30, so it's like 150, 130, 150 questions that you have solved only for ethics. Okay, if you can do it 10, that's roughly around 300 questions. And I don't think so students will face problem with respect to the number of questions that are available. It's widely available. There are on the CFA Institute website also, it is available. A lot of material easily students can get. Okay, so ethics, please make sure that you do not keep it at the end also. You just have to do every single day, every day. And you have seen the content before. Now just go and solve the question and try to understand why you made a mistake and make a note of it. Okay, you can create a separate book for tackling ethics with respect to the notes that you can get. Okay, you can create some pointers which will help you later on. And then okay, once you're done with corporate issuer, what I would request you is to come back to FSA once again and do second revision. Okay, second revision, because it is slightly lengthy. So that's around 12 chapters, bigger chapters. So you would need that support also during that period. Hence, I'm asking you to do one more revision. So this should be your order of revision for the exam. I'll be also walking you through the important chapters from each book. So stay tuned. Okay, and some quick points that you should ideally make sure that you have done this before you go for the exam. Okay, so important points that you should take care of. First of all, try to solve 3 to 4 mocks. Okay, and when you're giving mocks, okay, you have to keep time. Okay, so the time between your mocks, okay, should be at least 2 to 3 days. At least 2 to 3 days. The reason being I'm saying this, that because when you're doing the first mock, you'll have to focus on a lot of your entire curriculum. But when you're reading second and third time, okay, you might understand where you have made mistake, which chapters were weak. You will again go back and read. So you need roughly 2 to 3 days between your mock. The first mock that you're giving, you will give say around 5 or 6 days, because you will read the entire content properly and then you will give the exam. Okay, the third thing is that suppose your exam is in the middle of May, and you have roughly 15 days from the 1st of May for giving mocks. The important thing that you should focus on is fix the time. Fix the time of your mock. Okay, that time should not change. Treat the mock exams. Okay, treat the mock exam as your actual exam. Okay, as your actual exam. Okay, so over here you should definitely make sure that you treat the mocks as actual exam, and this will give you good amount of confidence when you go on the date of the exam. Okay, next is fourth, which is also very, very important, that whenever you are doing your revision, whenever you are doing your solving, okay, or the final revision before your mocks, try to look at the questions, okay, where you have made wrong. Okay, and when I'm saying questions, it is not the Swagger questions only. I'm talking about the institute questions. Okay, institute question bank. Okay, and make notes in the sense, make pointers. Okay, make pointers related to what you missed while solving those questions. Okay, so make pointers related to the solving of question bank. Okay, and you do have to do it in such a way that where you made mistakes and what point you learned from it, so those pointers should also be there for your final revisions. Okay, so definitely make sure that you create a short book or something like that which will help you to make the pointers properly. And also a lot of institutes also, they give you the formula sheet. Okay, so formula sheet in CFA level 1, you will find there are so many formula, the curriculum is so vast, so formula sheet is very, very important. Okay, formula sheet is very, very important because you'll have to read the content again and again. And next is don't underestimate don't underestimate any book, and especially your ethics. Okay, don't underestimate your ethics book. Okay, you have to solve, okay, roughly 200 to 300 questions to get a hang of it during the exam. Okay, so do not underestimate the book because it's theory, it's common sense. No, when you see the caselets, you will find it that they are asking your concepts properly. Okay, one more important things that you have to understand is that if you have been able to get, okay, if first of all you have to, I'll not use the word if, you will have to solve the CFA Institute question bank. Okay, the question bank, that institute question bank has to be solved, CFA Institute question bank, because that is very, very important, okay, from the exam perspective. So, and by default you have to do it, huh? And if you are able to solve, okay, if you are able to solve the institute questions, okay, with, I'll take scenario with say greater than 70% accuracy. Okay, that's a very, very good sign. Okay, that's a very, very good sign. That means there is very good chance, a very high chance of clearing the exam. Okay, because in the exam you'll find that the actual exam is slightly lower than the institute level questions, so you will be able to pass through. Okay, suppose there are students, okay, suppose there are students who are finding that their accuracy is between like 50 to 70%, then they have to do a proper analysis, huh? Don't skip. So how will they do it? If your accuracy is between 50 to 70%, you will have to do detailed analysis of your weak areas. Now, if I would have been in your place, I would go each book by book and see where my accuracy is very low. Okay, where my accuracy is very, very low. Say for example, my accuracy is very low in, just for reference perspective, it has gone down in FSA, it has gone down in say fixed income for example, and it has gone down in say cons. Okay, rest everywhere it is greater than 50-70%. So what I will do, I'll pick up each book and I will go page by page. Okay, so I will go page by page and I will check whether whether this page I'm confident or not. Okay, because see what happens is that you, when you go page by page, you first of all do a proper revision. Also, secondly, you ask yourself whether you are comfortable on this page or not. Make a note of those pages. Okay, make a note of those pages where you are facing problem. Now once you do it for entire book, you would get those 10, 15, 30 pages where you are facing problem. Okay, you have made this note, and what you will be doing now is when you go for the next mock, where you will start your mock, those 10-15 pages pay, you just go and focus, you solve as much question as possible from those 10-15 questions. You read that content again, if possible, if you have time, go and read the book, read that part from your CFA Institute book. So do that. Okay, so if your weightage is between 50 to 70%, your accuracy is between 50 to 70% when you're solving a CFA Institute question, you should pick up those books where you're facing challenge, go through page by page. Okay, and when you're doing that, look at the weightage that you will be getting in the actual exam. Okay, look at the weightage. Now for example, see FSA was a high weightage, 11 to 14%. Similarly fixed income, so I'm going to do FSA and fixed income first, and then I will go and do it for quant. So you have to be smart enough to strategize your revision also. Okay, that will increase your chance to focus and move towards the 70%. Okay, so students who are getting between 50 to 70% accuracy, it does not mean that you're going to fail. What it means is that you just have to identify your weaknesses. Okay, identify your weakness. Okay, and then play play on your strong areas, and also Also try to go towards the weak areas and improve on that. Okay, so identify your weakness and try to improve your weakness, that improve your performance in that weak area. Okay, that is what ideally you should be doing. If your accuracy is less than 50% in each of the books or in the books, okay, then it is slightly tough. Okay, because you till now ideally you should have gone through the content properly. Okay, so if you feel that your accuracy, if you've seen that your accuracy is less than 50, then it's going to be a tough journey, but it is not impossible. Okay, but what ideally you should be doing right now is there are important concepts for each book. Okay, I will be walking you through, I'll be creating a video of that important concept. Make sure that you're at least comfortable with that. Okay, I'll be walking through the entire treasure. I'll ask them which page is important, which part is important. This is heavily testable. So make sure that you're at least good on those concepts for that book. Okay, so this is how your plan should be ideally. Now what I'm going to be doing is I'm picking up the book in a particular order, the book that is book 1, book 2, book 3, book 4, book 5 for your CFA level 1, and I'm going to highlight the important chapters. So let us start doing that now. Okay, so first I'm looking at cons. Okay, within the cons section, this part, the time weighted and the money weighted part is slightly important, so I'm making this as star. Statistical measures and return, very very important chapter, so do not miss this. Okay, the basics of your statistic has to be clear. Okay, you should not skip that. Okay, that is the important aspect. Then probability mathematics, small chapter, you can easily do this, very easy chapter. Estimation and interference, hypothesis testing, important, highly testable topic from your CFA level 1 curriculum. Okay, and then you have this simple linear regression, very high chances that they might give you the ANOVA table and they might ask you. So the concept is very simple, so don't worry about it. Okay, but this is important, don't skip this chapter. Introduction to big data technique, they might ask you 1 or 2 questions, but again, the heavy weightage ideally should be in these 3 chapters for your quant. Okay, let us go to the economics part. Okay, business cycle important, do not skip this. Fiscal policy, monetary policy important, they will test you on this part, very very important topic. International trade, capital flow and FX important, I'm marking this as star. Exchange rate calculation can also be tested, but I'm just highlighting it, but most probably the content that you will see could be on the capital flow in the FX part. Okay, so we have done the second book. I'm going to move towards the third book. Okay, portfolio management return, and second, this part important, CAPM, SML, beta, you should be very clear as a student. You should be very very clear on how it has been done or in what is the context, and understanding has to be very clear. Generally in the exam what they ask you is whether you have understood the basic formula, whether you've understood the basic assumptions. So that is what they basically ask you to do. Okay, let us move to the next section, which is the corporate issuers. Now in this corporate issuer part, this chapter is important, the governance part. Features of corporate issuer is okay. Working capital important, do not skip this. Capital structure important. Business model is okay. So we're going to be moving towards the next book, FSA. A lot of students face a challenge in this book. It's slightly tough. Okay, so you will find in this book, analyzing income statement, the base should be very clear. Analyzing cash flow. Okay, this cash flow part, 1 second, what happened? Okay, cash flow part 1 is very very important, especially this indirect method and direct method of CFO, very very important. Okay, so don't skip that. And analysis of inventory also, the FIFO, LIFO, how it is going to get impacted. So theory based on this is very much likely in the exam. Okay, so analysis of inventory, long-term asset. You can look at the deferred compensation part and the lease part. Okay, income tax is okay. Warnings, ratios, yes, this ratio chapter, and over here the warning signs you can focus on. Ratio is important. Let us move to equity. Next book, I'm focusing on the next book now, equity. Market structure, index. You can look at the security market index and the types of index. Overview, this one, company analysis, past and present. And basic concept, this one. This is double star, very, very important book, very, very important section. So don't miss this. Let us go to the next book, which is the fixed income. Over here, issuance and trading. In fact, you can read these two chapters. Don't skip this. Bond price and yield measures for fixed rated bond, important. Term structure, a spot rate, forward rate, duration, important concept of duration. So don't skip this. And this also, convexity. Credit risk, okay. Credit analysis is okay. This one, asset-backed securitization and the MBS. Both chapters are connected, so you should do it together. Let us go to the next book, which is the derivative book. Okay, and over here also I'll be highlighting important concepts. Okay, so we have derivative market, swaps and option, forward contract valuation, very highly testable content for pricing and valuation of options. This one, put call parity. This is a very core concept of valuation of options. So that's why it is very important. So don't skip this. Okay, we have done this. Let us move to the next chapter. Let us go to the next book, which is the AI book, alternative investment, performance appraisal and calculation. This one, this chapter is important. Real estate, natural resources, hedge fund, and there is one, we can look at hedge fund, important, marking it as star. Portfolio overview, asset management, portfolio planning. So you can look at this chapter and the behavioral bias, because this concept is also there in the CFA level 3. Ethics, everybody knows that there is one chapter which is very, very important. That means it has the major chunk of the book. Okay, so again, don't read and remember things. Look at from the different questions that you're solving. Try to understand what different scenarios can come over here. And also don't miss this chapter, JIPS, which is the introduction of, okay, so this can also be tested in your exam, so don't miss this. So with this we have I've completed my discussion and the session point. So what all things we covered today, I'll just give you a brief. So we talked about what are the important books, what should be your order of revision, how should you do that revision, how much time you should allocate towards mock, how much time should you allocate in between the mocks. Okay, and we also talked about important topics, important points for you to remember for the exam. How should you approach certain things? Okay, and then we also talked about important chapter per each book. Okay, for each book. Okay, so this is what we have covered today. I'll be coming up with more videos for CFA level 1 students who are preparing for the exam, so don't worry. Okay, and if there is any query, you can put it on the comment section. We'll address it also. You can reach us on our number. Okay, on WhatsApp. We can try to help you as much as possible. Okay, so the number is 98. One second, why is it not working? It should also be visible on your the ticker, which is going at the bottom. So this is our WhatsApp number where you can reach us. Okay, so thank you very much guys for joining for today's session. If there is any query, you can reach us on WhatsApp. We'll try to help you